Merry Christmas!
Hi, this is Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
This is your host, Chris.
No! God, please, no! No!
I know, I'm sorry, but he's cheap and available.
How rude!
Extremely rude. Good evening, everybody. How the devil are we? The last few days of 2022 before we get into 2023. Good God, where are those years going by? Geordie is in. Good afternoon, Geordie, Tune for Life. And David is in as well. Good evening, David. How are you? And I didn't know this until you've just told me this, Geordie, until you just posted it then. I've just gone onto the BBC website. And yeah, R.I.P. to Pele. He died at the age of 82. I'm guessing it is breaking news. Well, it is breaking news. Look, I'm old enough to remember Pele. For me, he was the greatest. You can have your Maradonas, you can have your Messis, you can have your Ronaldos. I'm not going to lie, Pele to me, my first memories of Pele were the 1970 World Cup. And we got them, they were in our group, and we got them to play. And we still had most of our 66 team together. And they were playing against Brazil, and Pele had established himself breaking through at the previous World Cup where we won it. And the match between probably the greatest forward at the time, and he was the greatest player of his generation, and the greatest defender, which I think there probably was at the time as well, Bobby Moore. And there's a picture, and you've probably all seen it, of them after the match where they're just, Brazil won it 1-0. But it was an amazing game. Bobby Moore had a fantastic game. And Pele conducting himself like a gentleman. Yes, I know he did go on to sponsor the old blue pill, but we could all do with that at times. But to me, he knew how to behave. He knew how to... He could perform, and he accepted as a role model. He had certain... just sticking something down, certain standards to achieve, and he did. Like I say, he would never cheat like Madonna. He would never moan and complain that we know of, like Ronaldo. Although who knows if Piers Morgan was around then? Who knows what might have? But no, joking apart, to me, take your Maradonas. I'm going to quote Brian Clough here. Take your Maradonas, your Ronaldos, your Messis, put them into black bin bags, wrap the top up and stick them in a bin, because none of them could hold a candle to Pele when he was at his peak. R.I.P. Pele. I hope I hope you're playing a few games up there and cheering them Angels up. You will be missed, but your memories will go on forever. So, and obviously, our condolences go out to all his friends and family. I say so. Evening, Geordie. A bit of a, not intending to start off with bad news. Like I say, I literally only knew when you put that in. David is in. Good evening. Luke is in. Rest in peace, Pelly. Indeed. Static. How the devil are you, sir? Not seen you for a while. Well done. Tell you what, I would love it if Arsenal went on and won the Premier League title. I really, really would. Not only would it shut a few Arsenal fans up, but it would break the monotony. It'd be somebody different. You've not done it for a while. You're stuck with Arteta. You're doing great. And can you imagine Arsenal first, Newcastle second, or the other way around, to be honest with you. But well done, mate. Well done to Arsenal. You are doing very well. And as you say there, R.I.P. Pelly. Geordie, yes, I remember Pelly well. I agree, Pelly was the greatest. Look, I'm of an age, and I'm presuming you must be of a similar sort of age to me, Geordie, when we knew Pelly. A lot of the youngsters who have grown up with sort of Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo, wouldn't even have seen Pelly, possibly on a YouTube video. So to them, yeah. But for me, yeah, well, I've said it, and I can't keep saying it. He was the greatest. A very somber moment, the all-time great Pelé gone but never forgotten. He won't be. And I please, if anybody hasn't seen it, go and have a look at that England-Brazil game from the 1970 World Cup in Mexico, and just have a look at him and Gordon Banks, the Leicester City goalkeeper, in goal, and the save that he made from Pelly's header. Pelly went round to celebrate. I thought it had gone in, and somehow Gordon Banks got his hand to it. No diving, no cheating, no hands. Football hard and not so fair at times. He got kicked off the park, but he did. And you know what? He never retaliated, did he? Geordie, well, yeah, 64. Wow, congrats, mate. I mean, that makes you about 12 years older than me, doesn't it? Moving on. Jade is in. Good evening, Jade. How are you? I've not seen you for a while. Hello, Christian. Nice to see you. Just recovered. Oh, you've not. Oh, I know so many people that have had it. Jade, as part of the virus is going around and the colds, and we had a few family members that we couldn't see at Christmas because we saw them, but they went home at Christmas. It's diarrhea part of it, because I have had that. If I disappear very quickly for a moment, I'll tell you that is why. You know, like when you bleed in a radiator and you turn it and all that black. Yeah, it's a bit like that. Anyway, glad to say that next week is Diarrhea Awareness Week. Indeed, it is. It runs all week. Yeah, no, that was a shit joke, wasn't it? Anyway, Jade, I hope you're well. I hope you're feeling better. And as David said there, Geordie says, move on. David says, I'm 65. Oh, I attract the youngsters. Don't I? BLE Reviews Football. Hello, sir. How the devil are you? Welcome along. And Marcus is in as well. I was just watching John Sinclair's, and I've got to be honest with you, mate. If Newcastle turn up against Leeds the way they did against us, I do feel sorry. I do feel sorry for Leeds. Anyway, as Geordie says, move on. Yes. At least if we lose to Liverpool on Friday, we can go out New Year's Eve and get pissed. So, got a show coming up at 9 o'clock, doing it with Doug, joint Channel 1. Johnny Vegas. I'm fatter than he is, mate. I'm fatty. Hi all. Hope everyone is okay or as good as they can be. Indeed, Scott, this lurgy that's going round. Fly there. Lurgy that's going round. I think there's the dropping light flies, as they say. Look, let me know what you think about this show, because it's a new show. I haven't done it before. And usually I do this for sort of the first 20 minutes of the preview show. But then basically we haven't got a long time then to speak to guests and what have you. And I want to try and expand the preview show that we involve the guests more. Maybe do a joint 11. But we move on. Mr. Magic the Fly Catcher. No flies on you. No, I've got buttons at the moment. Oh, God. Hate buttons. Give me a zip anytime. So much quicker, but occasionally more painful. So with the preview shows, doing one after 9 o'clock with Doug, joint one on both channels. But normally the preview shows, we'll be expanding that, and I'm thinking about doing a separate show just about the stats for the game. So please let me know your thoughts on it. Because if you don't think it's very good, or you're not wanting me to do it again, then I can go back and stick it back into part of the show for the preview. But let's get on with it, shall we? And let's have a look at Leicester City playing Liverpool.
The Premier League is back, and we've got it all covered here on Leicester Till I Die TV. Subscribe.
Yes, on the day, not only that Pelly passed, but apparently we're offering Soyuncu an extended contract. I mean, that's all gone a little bit. What the fuck's going on there? But apparently he's set to turn it down. I think he would want to move to Atletico Madrid, and let's be honest with you, who wouldn't? Right, so let's get to the stats. We are playing Liverpool at Anfield, 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Again, if you can't be there, be square, but be round, because you can come in and watch the live watch along. Again, a joint presentation between Leicester Till I Die and the Dugout Football Channel. Indeed, Andrew, Gordon Banks, indeed, David, and Scott says, can we just give them the 3 points now? Save the embarrassment. 12 months ago, we beat them 1-0. And Hamza Chowdhury walked off that pitch with Brendan Rodgers blowing smoke up his arse. And we never saw him again. You tell me. So anyway, here we go. Let's get into this. Here is the tables, or how it stands at the moment. So you've got to say Liverpool aren't having their best of starts to the season. They're sat in 6th with 25 points. We are sat in 13th, as you can see there, with 17 points. But the recent form, we're as good as they are. We've lost 2 in 5. They've lost 2 in 5. And if you look at the form table, which is the table on the bottom of those two, Leicester are actually above Leeds in the Liverpool, sorry, in the forms table. Yes, indeed. We did indeed. Yeah, we beat Newcastle. We did. Nate, welcome along, mate. Hope you are well, and welcome Andrew as well. Yeah, so we're actually above Liverpool in the form table. And as I said, I honestly think the World Cup, I mean, taking aside that we know it's the wrong time of year, blah, 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 but it did come at the wrong time for us, because we just hit that form again. We had just literally getting clean sheets. Danny Ward was the joint top clean sheet goalie of the Premier League. And then the World Cup comes along and kicks us between the proverbials. So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't hold out much hope. I really, really don't. Although with my predictions, which come up later, I don't start predicting yet, because it'll disappear up the chat. But we'll do predictions at the end. I've got to go for Leicester, but to be honest with you, I can't see it. I mean, that was a dire performance. It really was, against Newcastle, and it was like stepping back in time. And that's what we have under Rodgers at the moment, we don't seem to have that consistency. I thought we were about to get it. Like I say, it wasn't his fault the World Cup came along. But coming back to Newcastle and coming back to Liverpool was always going to be a big ask. Two big teams to come back to. And Newcastle are a big team this season, whatever we say. They are where they are on merit. And, they absolutely blew us away. And everybody was going, in the second half it was better and all that. They took their foot off the gas in the second half. They really did. They were 3-0 up and they just let us wear ourselves out. I've never seen people leaving at half time. To be honest with you, Andrew, I think if it hadn't been this time of year, I don't think you would have done. I think it was purely the fact that it was this time of year and people thought, sod this, it's cold, I'm going home. That's a drink. So, but yeah, that I don't blame them, to be honest with you. I was watching it on the TV and obviously doing a watch along and it was awful. If we play like that against Liverpool, we are going to get our arses spanked. We really, really are. But this doesn't make good reading. I'm afraid this is probably the wrong show to start doing a stat show for because we haven't got a good history against Liverpool. We played them 32 times in the Premier League in its current form. So this doesn't include sort of first divisions or anything like that, cups. This is the Premier League. We've played them 32 times. They've won 17. We have won 9. Kind of says it all. We've had 6 draws. Home, they have won 10 of those at home. And we've won 3 of our 9 away. Yeah, it gets worse the more I say it, doesn't it, really? We know they're a strong team. We know, like I say, they're in 6th place. But, they are a very strong side. They've just signed Gakpo, is it? Gakpo or whatever he's called. I misread it on yesterday's show and thought that we'd actually gone in for him. But apparently, according to the Mercury tonight, we'd been in for Jude Bellingham before he went off to Dortmund. That could have been interesting. We do have consistency, Chris. We are either consistently crap or consistently okay at best. Oh, joy being a Leicester fan, eh? So there you go, 17 wins, 10 at home for Liverpool. It's kind of looking set up for them, really, isn't it? Now, I usually just include last season's games, but because we'd won the one before, I thought I'd include that as well. So we actually, in our last meeting at Liverpool, we lost 2-0 to them, which was in February. We beat them 1-0 at Filbert Street, and Hamza Chowdhury was playing in a defensive role. And yeah, I know Salah missed a penalty. He did a Harry Kane on the rebound, but Chowdhury did do very well. Came off. Do you remember him coming off the pitch? The picture, and Brendan Rodgers is like pointing at him. He's so proud. They just never saw him again. I don't get Brendan Rodgers. But we had beaten them 1-0, like you say, at the King Power there on the 28th of December. Having said that, they had just knocked us out of the Carabao Cup, hadn't they? It was all, well, we should have won that game, let's be honest with you. It went to penalties, typical Leicester at the time. We're never allowed to have dogs because we can't hold on to leads. It's as simple as that. But going into this game, let us have a look at our form compared to Liverpool's. So Liverpool, the last 5 games, started off really badly there because as you can see, they lost to Nottingham Forest and they lost to Leeds. And David, keep that thought there because I'm fully enough coming up to Kieran later. Losing to Nottingham Forest, losing to Leeds. Wow. I think we played Everton after that, and I did say I would have liked to have played against Liverpool at that point. They managed to beat Spurs, who are having a up and down season. They beat Southampton. Seems like everybody does except Leicester, doesn't it? And it looks like they're going to be. Well, I think they're going down this season. I really do. It's one of my few predictions from earlier in the season that is actually looking good. And then they beat Aston Villa 3-1. Ourselves, well, we put Wolves to the sword, didn't we? 4-0. I keep saying we lost only 1-0 to Man City. It was a great defensive game, but could you have seen us scoring in that game? You never know. I mean, it was a good free kick that finally beat us. We beat Everton 2-0. We beat West Ham 2-0. 2 good wins for us there. Teams that had beaten us last season. We were on that good run. I said we just lost the one, and it was to Man City. And then we had Newcastle. Yes. You never know, though. Fingers crossed. David says, my concern with that Newcastle game was we looked so off the pace. KDH tried, but he looked a shadow of his best. Unless we blame tactics, which I don't, it's like they all decided not to give her. I'm sorry, for me, and we'll just very quickly go back to that. I don't want to really sort of dwell on it too much, but I said the other day, a manager, if you got that manager sign on your door, that's where the buck stops. You know, I've been a manager in sales departments before. The buck stopped with me. If we had a bad month, I was the one that had to go in and explain why. I was the one that was sat there for an hour explaining why this hadn't happened and why we hadn't done that and why sales were down. It's the joy of being a manager. No matter how bad, and I could turn around and say, well, this player wasn't particularly, doing well, or in my case, this guy wasn't really stepping up to the mark when it came to the sales. But, well, then why aren't you sorting him out? Why isn't he? He's been good up until now. What's he done? Have you spoken to him? So, that's what Brendan should be doing. And maybe it just happens. And again, sometimes I'm thinking like, well, maybe the department that he's on, the section he's on, isn't for him. He's covering personal ads. Maybe he'd better be off with trades because he's a bloke, I'm not being sexist there. I'm just being realistic. But Brendan needs to do that. He needs to look at people and go like, is that the right place to be playing that player? Is that a round peg in a square hole? Newcastle fan said to me earlier, he said, you don't have a plan B. Oh, sometimes, mate, I said to him, we don't always have a plan A. But Brendan had the chance at half-time to change things round. What did he do? He brought Vardy on for Daka. And to be totally honest with you, I didn't even know Vardy was on. Everybody says, oh, Vardy made such a difference. Did he? Did he really? All right, he stretched them a little bit. But by then, they'd taken their foot off the gas for that second half. And then he waited till the 70th minute to make any more changes. And with about 3 minutes to go, 3-0 down, he brings on a defensive midfielder. Takes off a defensive midfielder, brings on a defensive midfielder, obviously deciding, well, we're only 3-0 down here. Let's hold on to that. Terry, good evening, Chris. Good evening, Terry. How the devil are you? Are you looking forward to the new year, footy-wise or general-wise? If it's general-wise, yes, I am, because I might actually be doing a breakfast show. I don't know whether it will come off or not yet, but I might be doing a radio show, doing the breakfast show on Monday to Friday in the mornings, standing in for somebody. If that comes off, I will be very, very happy. If it does come off, it means that I'll probably be doing less on here, because obviously there's a lot to prepare for the radio show. But just watch this space and we'll see what happens. But I could be the new hairy cornflake. I'd like to see Brendan change things. Formation and starting shake-up 3-5-2. I don't know if you've got the plays. If it's a 3-5-2, if you've got to have Vestergaard in there, I'm not sure. Rico is in, yeah. R.I.P. Pelly was 8-year-old in '66, which I'd seen him play at Goodison Park. I know. Also, what is happening with Albrighton? Hardly any games yet. Our vice captain. Vice captain's very much sort of a nominal role, isn't it? Really, he may start tomorrow. We've got nobody on the right apart from Perez, and I'm about to sneeze, so do excuse me. Oh. I do apologise. I won't be able to do that if I'm doing a breakfast show on the radio, will I? Watch this space for that. But I think it is totally just. It was like a gift to him to keep him on side. Yeah, Mike, thank you very much. I'm not too bad. Like I say, it's just the old tap water running a lot at the moment, or radiator, whichever you want to say. Anyway, those are the 5 games, but this is Leicester's form this season, home and away. We've played 16 games. We've won 5, drawn 2, lost 9. Home form, of those 8, we've only won 2, but we've drawn 2. The away form, 3 and wins and no draws. 5 losses away, 4 losses at home. So we can't even say that, our home form is better than our away form, or our away form is better than our home form. It's just not good either side at the moment. We need another run like we did before the World Cup started. The problem is I don't honestly believe that we're going to get that run until the new year. We've got Fulham, then we've got Gillingham, then we've got Forest. Fingers crossed that is when it will start to happen. Indeed, he was brought on to collect his playing appearance, probably. Right, so let's have a look. So this is where we score our goals at the moment. So this is sort of taking the 16 games we played. 20% of our goals come in the first 10 minutes. Wow. We've scored more goals in those first 10 minutes than at any other time. It's also one of our highest times to concede goals, 14% conceded in that first 10 minutes. But what worries me there as I look at it is if you look at the goals conceded, which is the bottom set of graphics, from 61 minutes to 90 minutes, we are conceding 18%, 14% and 18%. What is happening in those last 60 minutes? Well, what normally happens on 60 minutes, Brendan makes his substitutions. So, again, are we saying that Brendan isn't very good tactically? It's been said a few times, hasn't it? But yeah, I mean, look at that. I mean, 36 for 50% of our goals. 50% of our goals, if I've added that up right, come in the last 30 minutes. I mean, he didn't make any changes on the 60th minute against Newcastle. He waited till the 70th because we were 3-0 down and he wanted to hold on to that. But 50% of our goals, that is frightening. That is, for me, totally unacceptable. And I know these figures are going to be a little bit out of sync because of the Brighton, Arsenal and Spurs games. But, it is what it is. And 50% of goals in the last half an hour, it is totally, totally embarrassing. It really is. How many shots per match do you think we make? Well, I'll tell you. How many shots do we make, Chris? Let me tell you. We actually make 12.19 shots on average per match in the Premier League. Just remember, this is only the Premier League we're talking at here. 5.25 of those are on target, and 6.94 on average per match are off target. 12 shots a match. Is that good enough for a Premier League team? We haven't got a decent striker at the moment. Daka isn't, unfortunately, hitting form. Indeed, Rennie, yes, completely agree, mate. Daka's not really hitting the form at the moment. Vardy, if he wasn't Vardy, we would all be going mad because of his scoring rate. But at least he did stretch the defence a little bit. Inacho, I'm surprised he hasn't been knocking on Brendan's door saying, "Right, let me go, I'm off, bye." I really don't. But look, we know, as I said the other day, I was on Lee Chappie's chat earlier in the chat on his show, and he he was saying, why don't we play the two up front? Inacho can't play on his own. We know that. Why can't we play two up front? When that happened, when he had to play two up front, and it came very, very luckily for Brendan. He had to play that formation because of our injury crisis. Inacho top goal scorer that month, and yet Brendan. I thought Nigel Pearson was going to be the most stubborn manager we ever had at the club. Brendan, he outstubborns him. I don't know about that reporter, but I think Brendan is the ostrich at the club at the moment, because he sticks his head in the sand and goes, "Oh, I'm not pretending that didn't happen because I don't play that way." Well, it happened, and it happens that it was better than the way you play, mate. So anyway, don't get me on an anti-Brendan. I'm an anti-Brendan at the moment. You know me, I'm up and down like a horse knickers when it comes to Brendan Rodgers. These are our and Liverpool's match statistics. They've had 7 wins. We've had 5 wins. 4 draws to our 2 and 4 lost to our 9. Goals scored, 31 scored, 25 we've scored. But let's be honest with you, we don't have it. Although I was saying that about the scoring, thankfully, we've had the likes of Barnes and Maddison coming in and contributing to the goals. I've got Maddison obviously at the moment, and what is going on with Maddison? Our doctors declared him fit. England declared him fit. He went over. He wasn't fit for the first 2 games. He's got to have been reasonably fit because he was on the bench for the last 2 games and 3 games, whatever it was. No, 2 games. It was just the 2 non-group games. And he didn't play, so he couldn't have injured himself again, but apparently he has. I don't know. Vardy isn't the same player age seems to be. Well, yes, we know that he is getting older, which is why he's not playing 90 minutes game after game. Scott says there we can't play 2 up front as Brendan doesn't like it in his setup and build-up play. No, but it worked for us, didn't it, Scott? That's the thing. Mike says definitely another 3 points tomorrow if we turn up. BR has to get it right for our visit to Anfield. We can beat these if we are at it. Come on, City, but without Madders, well, you'll see some figures later. They are beatable, Liverpool. 100% they are beatable. Look at the Nottingham Forest. Look at the Leeds results. David says, to be honest, Barnes is too hot and cold, so I couldn't care less if he stretches the pitch in our 4-3-3 formation. He's more of a liability than a plus, so take him out and start 2 up front. You've just got to try something. You can't keep players in just because you think they're going to have a good game every now and again, when another option works. Inacho, he's not an out-and-out striker. His off-the-ball play is really good. And his dribbling and ball play when he's got the ball is really, really good. But he can't play as a lone striker. Luke says, yes, Liverpool are beatable. Well, you did it, Luke. You did it. So, let's have a look. This is Leicester City's player stats. Most appearances. 16 games we've played. Kieran Dewsbury-Hall's played every one of them, apparently. I thought he'd missed one, but still. This though, may include cup matches, so bear with us on this one. Danny Ward, we know he's played them all, 16. Jamie Vardy, 16. And Yuri Tielemans, 16. So those 4 have started every single game for us. Patson Daka, 15. He has come on a lot of games, obviously, and he's played in the cups as well. Timothy Castagna, 15. Harvey Lewis Barnes, giving him his full Sunday name, 14. And James Justin, 14. But Maddison has got the most cards. And Maddison isn't. No, he didn't play for a while, did he? In fairness, Maddison has got the most cards. Samare has got 3, which I kind of get because he's almost like the enforcer. So I would expect him to be up there. Daka 2, Daka 2. Ndidi 2. I think one of those, of course, was a red. Phase 1, Tielemans 1, Vardy 1, Pratt 1. What are your thoughts on Phase, guys? Because I wasn't impressed with him against Newcastle. For me, he was at fault for 2 of the goals. Not necessarily directly, but in the first goal, he played a very poor pass to Samari, I believe it was, who was being marked by 2 Newcastle players. So he had to, he lost out. The ball went forward. Amarty, did he have to put his foot in? It's instinctive as a defender, I guess, isn't it? And he missed it. But had Faze not played that ball, second one, I mean, Almiron, what a goal. What a player, what a goal. Credit where credit is due to that guy. It was a great goal. Reminded me a little bit of Maradona's second goal against England in Argentina at the World Cup, where he went past about 3 or 4 players. Nobody, including Face, put their foot in. And, you know, he took advantage. Gives us 6. So let me know what you think about Faze. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's been brilliant overall. I'm just saying on this one game. Gives us 65 years a fan. Daka just not good enough. It's what I'm you know, when you come to think, look at Soyuncu. We bought him. He had 12 months in the sidelines before he even sniffed the first team. And then he had 1 or 2 substitutes appearances. And that when he came on, he was brilliant. Now, Daka's come over. Some players take to our league like a duck to water. And as much as I hate him, Fofana did do that. Daka hasn't. And maybe we should have bought that type of player a year before when Jamie still had, some form in him. Because now he is not hitting the form, and we know it's not really giving Daka a chance to bed in. So I think maybe we missed the boat with not Daka himself, but with Vardy's replacement. We should have had him in a year earlier. But hindsight's a brilliant thing. I mean, you know, I do use hindsight quite a lot, but it is costing me a fortune in baked beans, and I should stop pouring them in my eyes because that's all I can see is hindsight. Thank you. I'm here all night. Luke says, Faze, the first goal was definitely his fault. He should have just booted the ball. Then the goal doesn't happen. My thought exactly. Why pass it to a player that you can see? Because Samari probably couldn't see what was behind him. And yes, he should have looked maybe. But, you know, Faze is facing him. You can see those 2 Newcastle players coming in. Mike, got to be 4-3-3. Last defeat, just a blip. What do we reckon, guys? I mean, that's his favoured formation. It probably is going to be 4-3-3 again because he won't drop players like Barnes if they're available. David says, Chris, for me, no one in that Newcastle game gets a pass. So off what Faze has done pretty much since he first joined. I'm willing to give him benefit of the doubt. In this one game, he was very poor. Yeah, I'm not. Everybody says, well, he's been good since he came here. Yes, he's been fucking brilliant since he came here. But the thing is, in that game, he wasn't. Then again, who was? You know, we couldn't. Thank you, Luke. Thank you. We couldn't. We couldn't pass win, could we? Let's be honest with you. Just a reminder there that if you do want to see all the stats pre and post match, get over to our website, leicestertillidie.com/match. leicestertillidie.com/match. It has all the match details pre, during, and after the game, all the stats there. And if you are new, please subscribe. I'm sneaking up slowly. I got to my target for Christmas, so thank everybody very much. But if you are new, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, please click that like button. it gets the channel seen in place to help when it does come to growing the channel. Now then, top scorers. James Maddison on 7. We are going to miss him, aren't we, guys? Especially because he also tops the most assists as well, with 4. Barnes has got 6 goals. Tielemans 3, Daka 3. This is definitely including the cup games. And as you can see, the rest there with 1, including Vardy and Inacho. If you can think, one of our 3 strikers, and that's all we've got in fairness, is actually 4th in the table, is a bit worrying. But at least the goals are coming from somewhere else. Assists, like I say, Maddison 4, Vardy 4, Daka 2, Castagna 2, Dewsbury Hall 2, Perez 1 as well, and Tielemans just the 1 as well at the bottom there. So I don't, the other players, if we're not scoring goals, it's good. And scoring goals doesn't seem to have been our problem. It does obviously conceded them. Terry says, Faze didn't help, but Samari didn't deal with the attackers and left Amarty to carry the can. But how can you when you've got 2 people coming down on you? I can't blame Samari. In my opinion, in your opinion, Terry, and I respect it. How come you can't get headache tablets in the jungle? The paracetamol.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Oh, yes, Mike. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. I love the fact that you explained it at the end. These are just comparisons for us and Liverpool. Goals, Firmino 7, Maddison 7, Salah 7. Assists, Robertson top there with 5. Most passes is Virgil van Dijk, and then Yuri Tielemans and Gomez. Most tackles, fully enough, we've got all of them. We've got Yuri Tielemans, Timothy Castagna, and Sumare in there. So there we go. And then this one, and bear with me because these are all new to me. These are the missing players. Doug didn't think that this many were out, but I don't know, who he counts as main players. But Arthur is out, Diaz is out, apparently Jota is out, Firmino is out, Curtis Jones, I think, has now been said that he is out, and Milner and Kanate are doubtful. But again, I may have read that Kanate is actually going to be possibly playing. For us, Justin, Piera, Pratt, Maddison, and Evans. Bertrand, I don't really count him. Just pay him off and get him out of the club, to be honest with you. All we're doing is paying for his medical bills. Johnny Evans, I mean, he's 35. He plays 2 games, he gets injured, and he's off for another 6 games. Comes back, and we're talking about offering him in another contract. Keep him, putting him with end his playing. Don't give him a new contract, but give him a contract to play. Teach the kids to do something. Help him to get his badges. And I know somebody said, "Oh, he can't just go straight to being a coach." I know you fucking can't, but what you can do is you can learn the game while he is at Leicester, and we can help him do that. And let's use his experience, shall we? Now then, what I thought I'd do is where some of the battles may go on in this game. I think one of the main battles is going to be midfield. You've got erstwhile, sometimes England captain, up against the Belgian player, of course, Yuri Tielemans. So I thought I would compare them both, and it made some very interesting details here. I know Henderson has played 3 games less than Tielemans, but Tielemans has had 1,100 touches to Jordan Henderson 661. Ball recoveries almost double with 99 for Youri Tielemans. Possessions lost 121 just for Henderson, so he hasn't lost as many as Tielemans. Goals, Tielemans would say he's got 3, Henderson hasn't got any. Shots excluding blocks, I don't really get that. 11 to Tielemans, 7 to Henderson. Shot accuracy, 25% shot accuracy for Henderson. 82% nearest damn it for Tielemans. Chances created, 12 for Henderson, 19 for Tielemans. Passes attempted, 5-7-6 for Henderson, 8-9-2 for Tielemans. So in that battle, as you can see there, apart from one, we have got the better midfielder. We shall see. Liverpool captain against Leicester captain. Captain versus captain. Yeah. Do Liverpool need to lend them some players we can afford to? And you're still going for more apparently in this window, so I'm sure you can. Get your score predictions in. We're going to be coming to that in a second. But just going to confirm, and this is always going to put a bad end on the thing, but I'll leave it till the end and then we don't have to really spend too long on it. Referee will be Craig Pawson, assistants M. Perry and S. Ledger. And the fourth official, Mr. Madley. So let's not hope for much help or assistance from VAR or the referee tomorrow. Youri has to perform. He does. And you know what? I don't think that he actually... Well, nobody had a brilliant game against Newcastle, but I think he was sort of held back a little bit. He wasn't quite as attacking as he could be. And he needs to be. He needs to be. Right, let's get on to it then. The old score predictions. This is what myself and my colleagues and the ex-Foxes have come up with. So Brad has gone for a Leicester win by 3-1. I ummed and ahed about this, although I did go for this in the prediction show, but I was thinking about changing it for this. But I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and that's because of the defence. So I have actually gone 3-2 to Leicester. Yeah, I don't think so, but I live in hope. I live in hope. Craig has agreed with Nate. Anthony's in. Good evening, Anthony. How are you, mate? Welcome along. Nate's gone 1-1. Anthony's gone Liverpool 3-2. Yeah, that's a possibility. Jerry Taggart has gone 3-2 to Liverpool, the same as you, Anthony. Ian Marshall has gone 3-1 to Liverpool. That's an ex-Evertonian for you, isn't it? Ian Wilson 2-0. Steve Linux has gone 1-1 to draw. And Steve Walsh has gone 2-1 to Liverpool. Yeah, it's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. So Anthony went 3-2. Nate went 1-1. Marcus went 2-1 to Leicester. Get in there, Marcus. And Davy's gone 2-1 Liverpool win. Hate to say it, but head over heart. Yeah, I've gone for my heart on this one and crossing fingers and what have you. So those are the score predictions. None of us got any points last week. Surprise. None of us got any points. Nobody went for the Newcastle win. And certainly, well, Brad went for 3-0, but it was to Leicester. So he got it. We weren't allowing him a point because it was the wrong way around. That, guys, is the show. That is the pre-match stats show, or we're going to shorten it down to the stats show. Let me know if it's what you want. Do you want this to every sort of game when we can go through and do these comparisons? Probably won't be as long as this in future. Probably about 30 minutes. Because obviously, a lot of them isn't going to change dramatically. But let me know what your thoughts are. You can add them in the description below. if it's over, do add it. Let me know, because like I say, there's no point me doing the shows, if you don't like it. There's quite a few been in. I think there's 15 at the moment, so thank you very much indeed. But let me know if you'd like me to do these shows on a regular basis, and I can do that. I can do that, no problem at all. It will probably be again normally, because we normally do the preview on Thursdays. Nate enjoyed it. Yeah, we'll go off at times and talk about different things as it comes up in the chat. R.I.P. Pelly, as we did at the start, etc. So thank you, Nate. That means a lot. So let's say, add it in the chat or add it in the comments on YouTube if you're watching on catch up, and you still enjoy it. Let me know what you think. I'm going to be back at 9 o'clock, and we will be back with this.
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
Yep, indeed. Coming up next, 9 o'clock, it's a joint show with Doug and the Dugout Football Channel. Liverpool fan, you all know him. Whatever you think. Anthony enjoyed it as well. Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much. I'll maybe do a few and see how it goes and see, what the figures are like. So I'll be back at 9 o'clock. Then we will be back tomorrow at 7:30 for a watch-along of the Leicester-Liverpool game. I might be behind the sofa, so you might not see much of me. But we never know. We never know. All the information, pre-match stats, during the match, and post-match stats are all available where it says there, www.leicestertillidie.com/match. And that gives you all the information on our latest match. Like I say, all the stats, for, against, etc., etc., etc. We are 2 days off the new year. Get your resolutions in. Any Manchester United fans, now's the time to make your resolutions. Anthony, you can make a New Year resolution to start supporting Spurs. Sorry, Chris, I thought you meant the pants I got for Christmas. Okay. If you have the time, I think it's a good idea to split shows so you don't have to cram so much into one show. Well, that was my thought. That was my thought. And by doing this show, when we actually do the show later, it does give us a chance to have a talk as well. Just realised I have no idea where my phone is. Anyway, it's in the house somewhere, so that's the thing. I will be back at 9 o'clock. Don't touch that dial. We'll see you back then. Thanks very much to everybody that was in the chat. If you have been new, please do subscribe. And if you are subscribed, like I always say, smash that like button. Thanks very much. I'll see you in 65 minutes. Good night for now.
Thank you for watching. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
That's all, folks.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
Leicester Till I Die TV. They think it's